Let's face it, life can get tedious. People want to have fun, and experiential concepts are ready to take advantage of that fact. This week, we are focusing on fun experiences. We're going to be talking about the Sloomoo Institute, America Ninja Warrior, the new RH Guesthouse in New York, plus the first physical MrBeast Burger at American Dream Mall. You're watching Everything We Know About Retail. It's the show where we tell you everything we know about retail. We broadcast live on the internet most Thursdays at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. But you can watch us anytime you want. Just head on over to YouTube and search for Everything We Know About Retail, or go to this link, everythingweknow.show. That'll take you to every single episode we've ever done over on YouTube. Just head over to everythingweknow.show. My name is James Cook. I'm coming to you from Indiana.
And my name is Keisha Virtue, coming to you from South Florida.
And we both research retail and real estate for JLL. I am physically in Indiana, but as you can see, Keisha, I am virtually in downtown Minneapolis, which is where I was yesterday. So I thought I'd bring a little bit of that Twin Cities magic back with me.
It's looking pretty cool, James. I myself am virtually coming from Design District in Miami because I have to represent the home team.
All right, so you're virtually in Design District. This is a new thing we're doing is we're going to do different backgrounds representing different retail places. So you're virtually in the Design District, which is really one of the up and coming hottest sort of fashion districts, if not the US, definitely the world. Let me say that another way. If not the world, at least the US is what I meant to
Yeah.
say. I'm in virtually downtown Minneapolis, which is a little bit, I'm going to say not in its heyday anymore. The Dayton's building, which you can see behind me, was a premier, 7-story department store. They've tried to redevelop it into office and mixed use. That really got killed because it delivered in I think 2020, right during COVID. So there's a lot of potential there, but I think just being downtown yesterday at lunchtime, there were people around. It wasn't dead or anything, but it certainly wasn't the hustle and bustle that you might have seen, in its heyday.
Right.
You ever been to the Twin Cities, Keisha?
I have not. I think the Midwest, I've been to Chicago. That's the only place I've been to the Midwest. I really need to start traveling there more, see some
Well,
more sights.
Chicago's the third coast, so it's really a lot
Yeah,
a lot more like New York and LA than it is like the rest of the Midwest.
agreed.
Being a Midwest transplant. But anyway, let's get into it. Today we're talking about new brand experiences. Keisha, what do you know about retail?
Well, James, I do know that experience is definitely back. So we've been talking about experience making a comeback for a while. I'm just going to quickly show you this chart where we can see traffic to experiential destinations like bars, theaters, entertainment concepts, restaurants. It soared 40% from Q2 2021 to 2022. So we're definitely seeing that rise in experiential traffic come back. And I think that's very important when we take a look at our key examples here. So first up is the RH Guesthouse. We've heard of retailers doing immersive experiences in person. So we know about Nike's House of Innovation, Starbucks Reserve Roastery or Glossier. But RH, or Restoration Hardware, as most people know it, has dipped its toe into experience before with its restaurants. But this is really something very, very different indeed. Um, this month, the company opened RH Guesthouse, which they're calling their hospitality concept. It's in the meatpacking district in New York, and it's very small, very intimate, 6 guest rooms, 3 suites, and a penthouse residence of the CEO on the top floor, which is sometimes available for booking. The CEO, Gary Friedman, has made it very, very clear this is not a hotel. It's a very private house where the client is the guest. So they're inviting the guest into their house or home. There is no lobby. It's a secure private entrance. There are no meetings or events, no photos or social media postings, no children or pets.
No children.
Exactly, no children or pets. It's an
What?
it's an, I mean, it's an
What
escape.
are you allowed to do at the RH Guesthouse?
Exactly. That's my point. Like, okay, with all the no's, what is the yes? What are what's actually happening here? This is sort of a retreat for people who just want privacy, quiet, and luxury. So, all of the rooms, every single one, have two bathrooms, a gourmet pantry stocked with stuff like charcuterie and all the fancy nibbles that people like to eat. In-room gym, access to the rooftop infinity pool and garden. It also has a restaurant called the Dining Room, all laid out in white oak, and a champagne and caviar bar. Both of the latter are open to the public, but everything else is behind a secured private entrance where nobody can come in except the guests themselves. So very, very private, very exclusive. Rooms start at $3,500 a night,
Sure, sure,
and
sure.
minimum 2 nights. So
I'm gonna do 10.
there you go. Why not? So when I first heard of the concept, I thought, how neat, what a great way to get people to experience RH products in an immersive setting, really like you would in your own home. But James, they don't put the RH merchandise in the rooms. It's
Okay.
all bespoke furniture. So I'm like, what? I'm scratching my head. I'm like, what's really happening here? So it's really, I think, just about offering an incredibly elevated experience and branding it with the RH label. They're also doing something very similar with private jets. I think they have two private jets that people can charter now. So same sort of concept. This is really a move to ultra luxury and getting very high income consumers who can apparently afford and are willing to pay $7,500 a night for a suite in New York, to associate the RH name with something really exclusive. So very interesting concept that has nothing to do with direct selling whatsoever, but nonetheless,
Wow. We'll
yeah.
talk about, I mean, clearly it's about brand building.
Mhm.
And what I think is fascinating. Well, first off, to your point, there's no actual RH furniture in the suite, which means that it's all super exclusive. To the
Mhm.
point though, I mean, the no social media thing, that kind of says to me that, I mean, boy, I don't know. It's not even necessarily about branding. It's really about word of mouth. I mean, if people can't post about it.
Yeah. Yes, it really is just an association concept. Like, this is super exclusive. This is just something for very, very select, you know, people who know what's going. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just.
yeah. Well, I mean, and RH has really made an effort to create a lifestyle brand out of
Mhm.
itself. I mean, this is an example. The galleries, the RH galleries, which are like
Mhm.
massive
Yes.
brand museums, really impressive. I think we also talked in, isn't it in Aspen, Colorado? They're working on actual like residential mixed use real estate development.
Interesting.
So
Yeah,
they're
it's
going
this.
in all the
They are
directions.
definitely going all in with this concept. So it's very interesting to watch.
So if you money were no limit, where would you choose to stay the next time you went to New York? Would it be at the RH guest house?
Gee, I don't know. I mean, for $3,500 a night, I'm not sure I would say.
Well,
I,
no,
I
no,
mean,
no. Like
this,
money
oh
aside,
well,
let's say you could stay anywhere and it wouldn't cost you. Would that be your first pick?
I don't know if it would be my first pick. I would have to clearly take a much closer look at the menu and the pantry. I think maybe that would sway me. Just
I love, I love it's down to what's in
the
the
food.
what nibbles are gonna be available during my stay.
Where exactly? Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I do like the quiet concept, but I have kids. I have a kid, so I mean,
Oh,
maybe I'm
right
immediately
there.
disqualified. So unless I'm just trying to get away from everybody. So
Yeah, yeah, right. Like right there. No kids. You're probably not gonna stay there.
no, but intriguing concept nonetheless. So James, what do you know about retail?
All right. Well, the second thing that we know about retail is MrBeast Burger opened at American Dream
All right.
Mall. Question one: how familiar are you, Keisha, with Mr. Beast?
The first time I heard MrBeast mentioned was 2 days ago, so not very.
Not familiar.
No.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of like how we can like just narrow down Mr. Beast. His real name is Jimmy Donaldson. He's the fifth most subscribed person on YouTube. So he's got over 104 million
Oof.
subscribers on YouTube. Um, YouTube creator known for, I guess, I was trying to like think of how describing it because my exposure is my nephews are really big
Uh,
fans, and the last time they were over, like a month ago, we watched like a few hours of MrBeast videos, and each video is probably like 20 minutes long. So that I've seen a bunch of MrBeast at this point. He does like, I would say, expensive stunts and challenges where he
mm.
often is giving away money. So
Oh,
people like participate in these like very elaborate, like one of them was, the title was I Built Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory,
mhm.
and he really did build a replica of
Wow.
Willy Wonka from the Gene Wilder movie, and then had people compete in different events within it. And then I forget how much people won, but it was a lot of money. Like the winner won a lot of money, and they are sponsored usually in some way. He'll partner with different brands, so it's the money is not coming out of his pocket; it's coming out of the
Mhm.
brands. Um, from what I've heard, it's you actually get more reach and spend less than if you did like a traditional marketing or advertising campaign.
Yeah, content advertising is pretty big.
Yeah. So other ones he's done, I spent 50 hours buried alive.
What?
Um, one which I haven't seen. One that I did see is, what was it? I think it was I went 30 days without food. He
What?
tried to go 30 days under doctor supervision, 30 days
Okay.
with just water and I think it was vitamins. He didn't make it. I think he made it like 20 days. Uh,
Yeah,
that's just
pretty
insane.
difficult.
So anyway, the most recent MrBeast video that just dropped like a week or two is I hunted 100 people for $1 million.
Oh my
And so
gosh.
he gave 100 people each a briefcase with $10,000 in it. They all
Mm,
went and hid in American Dream Mall.
okay.
And if they could stay hidden for 10 hours without him or any of his friends finding them, they got to keep the $10,000. So it's like these big
Wow.
money, exciting challenges. I haven't talked to my nephews yet since this came out, but I'm sure they've seen it at this point. But I'd be curious to see, like, do they remember American Dream Mall is this big mall that has a water park and a like, because during the show, as people are running around, they keep showing maps of the mall to show where different
Mm,
people are hiding and running around in. And it really features,
interesting.
it features the Toys R Us flagship, the It's Sugar, the theme park, the water park, the just the main concourse area. It
That's
really,
fascinating.
yeah, it really, like, it's super compelling to watch, but it is a subtle, or maybe
Of
not
uh,
so subtle commercial.
yeah, I'm gonna have to ask my nephew if he's seen it as well. 13
Is
maybe.
your daughter old enough to be watching a video, or would she have interest in watching a video like that?
Um, that's a good question. She's n very not allowed on YouTube very much, not without me there.
Right.
And when she is, it's like recreating, Elsa Frozen stuff. I don't know. It's just some random or slime, people making slime or stuff like that. So,
Slime,
mm.
foreshadowing. I like it.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Yeah, my nephews are older than your daughter. They're like 10. So, and it's age appropriate. There's no swearing, there's no violence. It's just cartoonish. It's not like Jackass, if you remember that
Oh, yeah,
show.
I
It
was
was
gonna
very
ask you if it was like
no. It's not
'cause
violent. It's much more family friendly than
okay,
that.
okay, good.
Um, so YouTube, he drops this big, American Dream thing. The last time I checked it, it had like 34 million views. So huge. I'm sure it's more than that because I looked at it on Monday and now it's Thursday. The other thing that MrBeast did is back in 2020, he launched MrBeast Burger. which was a virtual burger brand. So like in 2020, virtual ghost kitchens had been around for a while, virtual
Yeah.
brands, but they just like exploded. And they were perfect for the pandemic. So
Mhm.
this one was a partnership with a group called Virtual Dining Concepts. And they had, 1,000+ virtual delivery locations across the US,
Huh,
but they just
interesting.
announced their first permanent physical location, which opened on September 4th at American Dream Mall.
Interesting.
Virtual dining concepts, by the way, which launched pre-COVID, but good timing. They launched in 2018. Their thing, if you dig into them, their thing is like personality and celebrity-driven virtual dining concepts,
Oh,
such as Mariah's Cookies by Mariah Carey.
really? Do
uh,
they have glitter on it? I'm just
I should look. I didn't dig into that one.
Uh,
Steve Harvey's Family Food is
okay.
another one. Robert Irvine's American Heroes. Are you familiar with Robert Irvine? He's a celebrity chef.
He's British, right? And he wears
Yeah.
glasses? Yes, I've seen him on one of the Top Chef things. Really liked him.
Yeah, I actually quick aside, we did a podcast at a food competition with
Yeah.
one of our JLL clients, and Robert Irvine was like the celebrity
Mhm.
guest. Very loud man, loud British man
Yes.
is how I would say Robert
Yes.
Irvine.
Yes.
So anyway, just a quick aside because I think this is so fascinating. Virtual Dining Concepts was started by Robert and Robbie Earl. Robert Earl, as you might remember, founded Planet Hollywood. He owns
Mm.
Buca di Beppo. He owns
Ooh,
Bertucci's. They
I like
own
Luca.
Bravo Italian Kitchen.
Nice. Okay. So
So these are
yeah.
all these sit-down restaurants
Mhm.
that when they closed the dining areas in COVID, they all turned into virtual kitchens.
Wow.
So if you were to order Mariah's cookies for pickup, you'd be going and picking them up at like a Buca di Beppo. Or if you were to order MrBeast for delivery, they would be delivering it likely
From
from a Bravo
one of
Italian kitchen.
interesting. Makes
Al-
sense. Good use.
Yeah. Although I will say that you can partner, you as an independent restaurateur, you can partner with them and also deliver whatever concepts you choose um, from your location as well. Which I think a lot of restaurants did. Spun up. Started delivering virtual brands. I was talking with Taylor Coin last year about there was a virtual bow concept, and I was like, oh, in my area, and I was like, bow in central Indiana. Where is that coming from? And I googled the address where you could pick it up at, and it was a Fazoli's. So
Oh,
Fazoli's had done virtual brands as
did you
well.
try it?
I did not.
Oh, I do like bao.
Did I try bao from Fazoli's? No, I didn't.
Just curious.
I'm sure it's great though.
You never know.
Yeah. So anyway, Mr. Beast, like this is like this is not about the food, it's about the celebrity, it's
Mhm.
about personality, it's about novelty. That's the word I
Right.
was trying to think of. So anyway, Mr. Beast tweeted that he was going to be there on the 4th for opening day,
Nice.
Mr. Beast in person, and they said, well, didn't know how many people to expect that would show up.
Mhm.
A lot of people showed up. Over,
Whoa.
I haven't seen an official number, but it's in the tens of thousands
Oh my
of
gosh.
people that showed up, ostensibly to try out the MrBeast burger, but I think also just to be a part, the idea of maybe they would be in a new MrBeast video, they could get to interact with
Yeah.
him or, something like that.
Wow. Power of celebrity is right.
I know, right? Yeah, so that's for me the key takeaway. So we talk about virtual dining concepts. They've got to focus on celebrity-driven brands, not on the differentiation of the food itself, which means they're going to have to constantly be thinking about what's the new novel thing. Like MrBeast burgers, like I've read some reviews, they're
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah.
I've also read that because they're each created in different, because it's mostly a virtual brand,
Yeah.
um, they're each created in different kitchens, so quality control can be an issue.
Okay. Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah, with virtual brands. So, like you might try, Keisha, you might say, hey guys, let's have Mariah's cookies this weekend. You might try them once. Unless they're the best darn cookies you've ever had, you're probably going to do it as a novelty once, but not order them
Yeah,
again, would be my
exactly.
guess. I
Hmm.
could be wrong. I don't want to speak ill of Mariah's cookies because I haven't tried them yet.
Maybe they're really good. I don't know.
Yeah. And then like the other thing too, my other thought about this is MrBeast shifting into physical locations. I mean, we are now, last year or the year before, we were really at peak off-premise dining where it
Hmm.
was all about delivery and pickup. That's starting to go away. So I feel like now is the time for you to be opening, as a brand, for you to be opening up physical locations.
Definitely.
So have you ordered, are you familiar or aware that you've ever ordered from a virtual brand before? Because I've done it unwittingly before. When I've been traveling and I'll order Uber Eats for
Uh,
delivery and think, you're just on there and you see a brand and you think it's, oh, it's just a restaurant down the street. And then you realize after you've ordered it, oh no, this is just a virtual brand that's delivering from a ghost kitchen.
I don't think I have yet. I've mostly been focusing on enjoying all my old favorites coming back to Florida, so places that I've actually been to before. But
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I think that sort of we may have reached peak ghost kitchen and peak virtual brand 2020, 2021, or maybe there are new highs to come. I think we're just going to have to wait and see.
definitely, James.
So, Keisha, I'm excited to know what else you know about retail.
Alrighty. Well, we're injecting a little bit more fun into malls. Most people know about the American Ninja Warrior TV show that's aired for the last decade or so, right? It's based on like this original Japanese obstacle course competition. It's pretty fun, pretty entertaining. Thousands of competitors across the US, they're trying to get through this series of obstacles and increasingly difficult stuff. A lot of wipeouts happening in order to, they're trying to advance to the national finals in Vegas and be crowned the American Ninja Warrior, whatever particular year they're competing in. So it's been a very popular TV show concept, and now they've kind of scaled it down, made it safer, more attainable, right? And brought it inside a mall. So this first location opened in Main Place Mall in Santa Ana, California, in June of this year. It's roughly about 17,000 square feet, and it has some of the same obstacles you'd see in the show itself, like the monkey swings, spider walls, and warp wall. I'm sure definitely not at the same level of difficulty because we have kids here. And there are all sorts of waivers I'm sure you're going to have to sign, but still definitely, not as crazy. And they have a 10,000 square foot obstacle course. I think it's like an inflatable obstacle or cool course or something to make it a little softer on the kiddies. So when they install this in June, by July, traffic had jumped 18% from the levels seen like in 2019. So it was a huge draw for the mall itself.
That's
In fact,
fantastic.
exactly. It's looking like they'll see over 350,000 visitors in its first year, and the the concept they already have other mall operators just clamoring. Could you please expand it to our location? So I think we'll see more American Ninja Warrior attractions open across the country. This is pretty much heading in the same direction we've seen with Urban Air and other, kind of very obstacle jumpy trampoline park sort of places. So I'm very, very interested to see where they'll open. I'm hoping to see some good expansion of this or other fun concepts for kids and adults. So very, very interesting. It's definitely a draw. And I do like to see that when you put some real good experience in a mall, that the traffic just kind of surges as a result and people stick around and they shop. So very, very good move by Main Place Mall. Okay.
Do you have a sense, have they announced like any new locations or any
They haven't,
numbers around new
no, they
locations?
haven't yet, but it seems like with all the mall operators really interested in it, we'll see some soon for sure. I
Gotcha.
can't think why
Awesome.
not. Yeah. Next up in our example list is Sloomoo Institute. Just I was trying to figure out if it was slow mo or sloomo with Sloomoo. Um, It started as a pop-up concept in Manhattan in 2019 before the pandemic. It was supposed to be temporary, right? But it racked up more than 30,000 visits in the first, like every month. So before COVID hit, 30,000 visits a month. And if you can take a look here at the screen, you'll see it's a slime concept. Gotta love that slime. So very sensory, very immersive. Um, and as we're moving out of the pandemic and consumers search for fun experiences, they're looking to expand for sure. They're opening 2 permanent locations so far. In November, there will be a 20,000 square foot space in Chicago and a 28,000 square foot space in Buckhead, Atlanta. So near the grandparents. I mean, you have to keep this on the radar. So
Oh, yeah, your daughter would
yeah,
love this, huh?
right, exactly. So if you have kids, you're probably very familiar with slime. And I don't know, my daughter has actually gone to a museum, like a science museum, and built her own slime and stuff. And it's just like the funnest thing ever for her. So the New York experience included a slime waterfall, day glow cave, interactive mirrors, and do-it-yourself slime kitchens, of course. But since these new locations are going to be much larger than the original, there will be additional attractions like kinetic sandbox. Do you know what kinetic sand is, James?
No.
It's a really cool concept, and I think it's a great concept because it's like you can build sandcastles at home, and the sand is much more likely to stick together than if you're going to the beach. So it's not as messy, and you can create all these things. They have these molds where you can create all these wonderful concepts. So it's pretty cool, and they're going to have a kinetic sandbox, so it's going to be giant sized. I'm sure the kids will love that. And they're going to have something called smell phones, which I had to look into. Like
Say that again, like a telephone, but a
smell
smellophone?
phones. I thought so, but it doesn't seem to have anything to do with phones.
Oh,
There are 3D structures that grow out of the wall in the location where you can smell like 60 different scents and then choose which ones you want to add to your slime. So scents like cotton candy and dragon fruit. And there's some perfume manufacturer that's actually manufacturing scents specifically to add to some of these smell phones that
now
you can then add to your slime.
when you've made slime at home, is smell a part of the equation?
First of all, slime is never made at home. Slime
Oh,
slime is hardly ever allowed at home. So she she made it at the museum and then she took it to school and I'm like, it's gonna stay at school.
mhm.
Because slime is just one of those parent nightmares because it does not clean up. So we've lost many clothing and cushion covers to slime. So again, I have
Gotcha.
really, really mixed feelings about this because I think it's wonderful. I love the idea. It's a wonderful way to get kids out of the house, away from the screens, doing something really immersive. I think it'd be probably a very good experience for some special needs kids as well, with the different sensory um, touch points. But it's when they have the slime and then they're going to bring it back. I mean, I guess I'm going to have to bite the bullet regardless because I don't think I could deny Kylie if it ever opened in South Florida. And for sure, if we go to Atlanta, she's going. And I would love to see this and experience it because they have all these textures and slime that apparently feels like clouds that you're just stretching apart. I don't know. It's it sounds like something really interesting that I think I'd like to try and take some pictures of, and then hopefully deposit the slime somewhere safe.
Wow. So we'll talk about square footage for a second here. American Ninja, you said was 10,000 square feet. Is that right?
I think it was 17,000. They took over 4 stores, 4 vacant stores.
Wow.
So
And
yeah,
Sloomoo is the one is 20 and the one is like almost 30,
28.
right?
Yeah, so big spaces. This is going to
So
be
these
really
could be uses for like a empty junior box,
exactly.
anchor.
Yeah,
Or, yeah, or take up, if we're talking about an enclosed mall, taking up a good
like a
amount of
floor. Yeah,
space.
yeah,
Wow, that's great to see these new experiential concepts coming, and there's so much explosion in that right now. Actually, so I was in Minneapolis, and one of the places that I went to Rosedale Center, the mall, and it's a great mall, like a Class A mall in the Minneapolis area, and one of the tenants is Sandbox VR,
oh
uh,
yeah,
which we did I forget what it's called, but like it's killing zombies basically. So it's like basically 20 minutes of getting attacked by zombies, and it's actually pretty immersive. I was impressed by the quality of it. I don't know if I personally would jump at doing it again, because I'm not like, shooting games has never been my big thing, but I was
Mm,
super, in the moment I was into it. We took video of us. I need to get it downloaded off my GoPro, and I'll share more about my experience at Sandbox, as well
nice.
as the food hall. There's a food hall called Potluck at Rosedale as well. Um, Keisha, we ate food from every vendor at the food hall. not
That
not
sounds
being
wonderful.
not being hyperbolic here. We literally ate food from every vendor. And so of course we took video of that too. I need to get that all organized, and I'm sure that'll be a feature in an upcoming episode.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see that.
Yeah, so experience coming back
Hmm.
to urban locations. We talked about urban locations. We talked about shopping centers.
Hmm.
It seems like a good time for expansion of experiential concepts.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, hey, I wanted to remind everyone they can download our latest research reports, which is your latest. It's the back to school shopping report. If one were to go to jll.com and go to the trends and insights section, they're available for download right there. And there's a whole bunch more. I mean, any research you want about commercial real estate, you'll find over at jll.com. And the Where We Buy podcast is always featuring new in-depth audio interviews with retail movers and shakers. The latest episode is with the general manager at Kids Foot Locker. Keisha, you head over to Kids Foot Locker often?
No, I haven't been to a kids' Foot
You
Locker.
haven't?
No.
Your daughter gets shoes in other places?
Yes, she gets she gets shoes in other places.
All right, excellent. Well, once you listen to this episode and you learn about Kids Foot Locker's new concept, House of Play,
Oh,
which there
yes.
is a Florida location, you may be interested in going and checking it out. It's really interesting, and their new concept is made specifically to appeal to Gen Alpha, which is
Ah,
for anybody who doesn't know, that's kids born 2010 or later. So that's between 0 and 12. So your daughter is a Gen Alpha.
yeah, the name is very apt. The alpha part of it. Just kidding.
I love it. And okay, so go listen to that at wherewebuy.show.
Or you can hit the subscribe button in YouTube and click on the bell icon so you're notified when new shows come out. Gotta stay on top of it.
Or you can
Or,
follow. Go ahead.
sorry, or follow the JLL retail page on LinkedIn.
Yep. We go live on YouTube and LinkedIn. Wherever you watch, you got to follow, subscribe, do whatever. We'll be back again next week. We do a new episode every Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific or 12 Eastern. All the replays are at YouTube. Keisha, what did you learn about retail today?
I learned that there's something called a smell phone, and that perfume, perfume manufacturers are creating scents for slime. So that's fascinating to me.
And I learned that I can finally live my dream of competing in American Ninja Warrior, which I would be the worst contestant at. But who knows? If I'm competing against kids, maybe I got a shot.
There you go. I gotta
And
stay positive, James.
yeah. And if you want to know more of everything we know about retail, you can join us here again next week.